everyone, it's Gabby, and I've got Vann with me, and we were already talking about it because we're watching, I just put a playlist of Jimquisition on, and we got to the episode about Sonic Boom and started talking about Nintendo. So, I thought I'd hit record because it's actually a fun conversation that we have fairly often. Like, whenever we talk about Nintendo, this is the conversation we have.
Yeah, you get pretty spirited.
So, we were talking about Nintendo and decided to just hit record because it's already something we're talking about. I brought up the fact that I'm happy Nintendo is finally doing something at least somewhat new by bringing their stuff to like mobile platforms like Android and iOS and stuff. And just the fact that it looks like they're going to recover, because for a while I was really scared that they were going to actually go away, or at least go the way of Sega, because man, they've really kind of not been doing much lately. And I brought up also that they need to do, like, the thing that would get me back into, like, I would pick up a Wii U or a new 3DS or whatever, or NX or whatever the fuck that is. I'm going to talk about that on an actual episode of Backlog. But if they would make something new, I would be far more apt to, like, pick up one of their consoles, but it's the same 4 Mario games for the last, like, half decade.
I mean, I can see that, but at the same time, I think that unlike Sega, they know what they do well.
Oh no, they know what they do well, and they do it well, and that's why it's so refined and good. But at the same time, what reason do I have to pick up the Wii U version of the new Super Mario Bros. When I have a DS version or a... Oh, well, okay, the DS doesn't have the multiplayer like the Wii, but a Wii version that's like $5 at somewhere.
Well, I'm probably not going to pick up both the Wii and the DS version, but I mean, I think that might be a difference between you and me, and maybe you and some other people, and me and some other people, that I enjoy playing, even if it's the same sort of Mario game multiple times. I still enjoy it, I would say, and it's still worthwhile for me to play it at this point. I mean, maybe someday, like, I'll hate it, but
I guess I'm just more jaded, because I'm at the point of just, I don't care. It's like, it's one of those things, it's like, okay, there's another Mario game, and it's the same one with a couple different, like, the worlds are fairly similar, same number of stars. Oh no, I get to play as Luigi. Okay.
Well, I think also they use the Mario games to fill the gaps between games that come out less frequently, like Zelda.
Or
titles.
Like Metroid, give us a good one, because we haven't had one since Prime.
But I don't disagree with that either, or with, I feel like the Mario, just like, well, they did the Mario 3D World, which was a little different, but those types of games are filling. They fill the gaps.
See, I guess I just miss the days of, like, because there was a time, but there was a time, like, Mario 64 was fucking revolutionary. And then we had a break, and then there was Sunshine. Sunshine was different enough from 64, but still felt the same, that it felt like a completely new game to play. New mechanics, stuff like that. And then, but since, like, the first Galaxy, we haven't really had a new Mario game at all. Galaxy was the last new one, because then we've had New Super Mario Bros., which was a remake of the original. Like, a flat-out just HD remake of it. And then it was the subsequent other versions of that and Galaxies 2. We haven't had another...
Well, the Mario 3D World was Mario... I think that's what it was called. Where they introduced the little cat power-up and all that. That was different. That was...
Yeah.
It had the same feeling as the ones that, are standard side-scrolling type Mario games, but...
I guess just a single power, which isn't like... it's not like a game-defining mechanic.
But it's not just the power, it's also the fact that you're moving within the 3D field.
True.
Which was different. It's a minor, it's not as major a change as maybe Galaxy obviously was. But, and the first Super Mario Galaxy was really good. I liked it a lot. And I think that they've shown they are capable of doing different things. So I could understand a frustration when they failed to do that, despite having maybe more resources to do so.
Well, and that's my other thing. It's like, they have had so many varied Mario games. Sorry. There's like Paper Mario. There's the Mario RPG, which, god damn it, give us another one, because those are fucking amazing games. We've had like the 3D Marios, like 64 and Sunshine and stuff like that. But they've fallen into this, let's just make the side-scrolling Mario again and again and again. And that disappoints me, because they have such a good, like, creative team for Mario that just... And I'm not saying that they're anything like the shit that is EA or Activision, because they will shit out 100 games in a year that are literally the same. At least Nintendo puts the time into their games that they're polished, they feel good to play, and they're fun. But Nintendo also trades on nostalgia super hard.
Well, I mean, but is that wrong if your games are games that people enjoy playing? Is that wrong if they're games that still hold up?
I don't know if I'd call it wrong, but I'd call it...
Is that a
lazy?
Wrong strategy?
I would call it lazy. In terms of their Mario team, I would call it lazy. Just because, yes, it's polished, it's good, and it's well built, but it's the same thing.
I mean, I could see how you could feel that way. Again, I feel like a lot of them are being used as filler for gaps in their, big releases. But you also have you have other Mario affiliated titles like Mario Kart and a new Mario Party, which I'm not sure when or if
Mario
that's already...
Party 10. Is, but Mario Party is more the divorce maker than anything.
But Mario,
but Mario Party is really just a skin on it. You could skin it with Donkey Kong Party. You could make it Nintendo All-Stars Party. And it would be the same.
We saw when we went to the Best Buy or whatever, and
we saw the demo.
That there's some different...
I haven't... I don't know enough about it to really know, other than, like, it might have something to do with the Amiibos. I don't know. Like, I didn't look at it enough, because I have really, really bad... I have a really bad association with Mario Party, specifically because it has actually ruined 4 friendships for me. Like, people that I was super close to... We got into really bad fights over Mario Party and stopped speaking.
I'm not very competitive, so it doesn't... I might be, like, mad if at the end of the game they steal 3 of my stars, but other than that, like, I'm gonna let it go in, like, 5 minutes.
7 stars. 7. But, yeah, I mean, so Mario Party's not really my thing. You would know more about it than I did. So, I mean, if there's something new with it, that's awesome, and I'm really happy.
I just remember when we played the demo, remember it was, like, Bowser versus...
Oh, yeah, they had, like, a 1-on-3 thing with that. Yeah, that was, they are integrating. That was the renders for the videos being done. Sorry about that background noise. Also, sorry, I have it on... I got a new mic, and it's on the Omni setting, so I don't know how good the audio quality is, and I don't know about background noise right now. I need to turn off that chime, though. Anyway, sorry.
I don't... Oh, it looks like it also integrates the gamepad and the ability to have 2 screens, especially with that 1v3 or whatever.
Yeah, that looked cool.
Which... That's something they also do well, is while they might only integrate some minor changes with, lovable titles, they're very well thought out a lot of the time, most of the time.
Oh yeah, I won't ever deny that Nintendo knows how to fucking polish a game.
Yeah.
Their games are always really, really, really good.
And maybe that's why I'm not upset, because they're still fun to play, and I'm still interested in playing them. But, like, also, I'm obviously much more excited about the new Zelda title than I am about, you know, any new Mario game, because those don't get, you know, as much hype, obviously, because they are a lot more quickly produced.
Yeah, and I also just... And it's not even that they're quickly produced, it's that Nintendo doesn't produce anything else sometimes. Like, we went how long without anything but Mario games, and...
Well, they've released a lot of, I would say...
Well, Nintendo themselves.
Of the 3DS?
Well, 3DS, but 3DS is also developed by other people, too. I'm talking core Nintendo games, not...
Well, you have Link Between Worlds, you have, you know... I mean, they made the Mario Kart and Smash for both.
Yeah.
The console and the handheld. But, I mean, I think, yeah, we're not getting as much, but... Also with the threat of, well, we need to make things that are going to, you know, prevent us from, say, going under, which could be a possibility. You were saying you felt that was a threat, a real threat. I would think that maybe they're trying to be more conservative or thoughtful about what they're producing.
Yeah, and I get, and I'm really happy about that because it's one of those things where Nintendo is what... My first system was a NES. Like, my first game that I ever played was Super Mario.
My first system was a NES too, but I'm much younger than you.
Yeah, you're 5, almost 6 years younger than me. So it's one of those things where it doesn't... Like, I also have had more time with these games.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it hits me that...
Well, and I moved from... Between the NES and the Wii, I only had handhelds.
See, that's the other thing.
Because we had a PlayStation.
I had a NES, SNES. My cousin had a 64 and a GameCube. I had a Wii. So I've stuck with Nintendo this whole time. Like, I've always played Nintendo games, but...
Well, we always had Game Boys from Color. We got every Game Boy. We had Color, then Advance, then SP, then... You know, 3DS, then 3DS Lite, then 3DSi or XL, whatever.
Yeah.
And then now not 3DS, sorry, just the DS Lite.
DSi or DS Lite or whatever.
Yeah, DSi.
DSite. Some type of rock. They're gems.
But now I have a 3DS, and...
It's right before the new 3DS came out.
Yeah, that was... unfortunate, but we'll probably pick up another for Eli.
Well, just wait for the NX. Apparently, that's coming out this year.
I haven't heard of it. See,
they just started talking about it.
I'm much less connected to any kind of news than you are.
Yeah, I stay... Well, and it's one of the things where I'm trying to do a podcast on it, and I actually am trying to... I did not bookmark Feedly, so I can't open up my shit from her. But yeah, like... They just announced another handheld. So hold off. And that's something that's starting to get to me. Where, are we really going to go down the hardware route with Nintendo over playing hardware?
It's been that way for a while, though. Because consider, I got a DS Lite after... My brother had one for like a while before me. But right after that, after I got, you know, not that long after... Actually, I'm going to bring up a timeline. Because we were looking at this before.
Because it was a few years before the DS...
But it felt like the DS Lite, short. DSi, and the DSi
those
XL.
all came out within like a few years of each other. It was like within 5 years, the DS Lite to the 3DS. And there was all the XLs and the I versions all in there.
That's my problem, is make the best version first, and maybe refine it once.
Yeah.
Until you know...
But we don't need two versions of the 3DS when you're going to come out with the NX next year. Like, it's stuff like that that's starting to... It's the Apple model of hardware for Nintendo right now, and that's irritating.
Which, you know, might just be becoming a popular model.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is shitty.
Yeah. Well, and as somebody who does PC gaming, having to upgrade hardware is fucking nothing new to me. But also my other thing with Nintendo is I know they're coming out with a new IP this year with Splatoon. It's the Splatoon, where you're playing as the squids, and it looks cool, like the paint, you can dive into it and stuff. That looks really cool, and I'm really happy they're coming up with new IPs. because, and I've said it, and Legend of Zelda is not nearly as egregious as Mario in its, like, same gamey every time thing. But at least Mario has over Zelda that it has a unique mechanic to each game.
I could play Zelda though. I could
play
100
100 Zeldas before I played 10 Marios though. I could play one Mario game for the rest of my life and be perfectly fine with that. Like, give me either Sunshine or 64 and I'm fine with that forever.
And Zelda has a lot more not like story nowadays.
Yeah, well, and Legend of Zelda is one of those things. It's like they at least add a mechanic to things that's unique to the game and adds something to it. Adding a cat power is not the same as adding the two worlds that you go between and stuff and affect each other.
I don't think it was necessarily I don't think that the only thing that was really special with that Mario game was that it was still built like a side scroller, but it was in 3D, so you could move.
Yeah, you can move on a 3D plane on a 2D game.
Yeah.
That's
kind of. But you didn't like Super Paper Mario, but I never played the original Paper Mario, but I like Super Paper Mario.
I got Super Paper Mario at a time when it was the first game we picked up on the Wii, and I had heard all these things about how, like, revolutionary the Wii was and stuff, and it's just like,
oh yeah, that's not a very good game.
Like, this isn't that great. And also, I played the original Paper Marios, and they were a lot better than this. And I guess Sticker Star was way better than Super Paper Mario, so fucking,
I like
what
Super
do I
Paper
know?
Mario a lot. I mean, I guess something could be better, but I don't think that it's besmirchable in any case.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it's just one of those things where I
found a timeline. So the Advance SP, that's 2003, Nintendo DS around 2005, the DS Lite to a beginning of 2006, DSi. Actually, the DSi didn't come out. I must have just well, like I said, I got it I think a year after my brother did. So yeah, because the DSi came out in just before 2009, it looks like, and then the DSi XL came out just before 2010. That's my problem, is all they did really was, the DSi was fundamentally broken. They tried to integrate, like, online type stuff, and it wasn't at all useful at that point, in the way it is now.
Yeah.
It was just a baby version. And but then to just make it bigger, I'm sure they also fixed some of the problems that they had with the just the DSi, but which I never had a DSi, but I think my brother did. I got the XL of that one. Okay, and then the 3DS came out just after 2011. So that's back to back 3 years. Then you get the 3DS. Yeah, so the 3DS came out just after 2011. Nintendo 3DS new. The timeline gets kind of weird here because there's a bunch of things shoved together with the 2DS.
Let me look at it. So yeah, it was just one of those things where they. Oh wow, that's a really stupid timeline.
Yeah, no.
Okay, it's scrolling on the phone. Yeah, it looks like just 2014 was the new 3DS and 3DS XL, and the 2DS was like late 2014.
Which I think the 2DS is a good idea.
The 2DS was a good idea. I liked the fact that 2DS existed, even though it looked like crap.
Yeah, it's really ugly.
It's really stupid
so
looking.
Ugly.
But
if you're a kid, if you have like your 5-year-old or 6-year-old, which I had a Game Boy Color, that's kind of a very easy to hold, kind of chunky. It looks fairly sturdy. I don't know. Yeah. It might not be, but
I'm perfectly fine with it, and we'll see what happens.
Which it was particularly also for kids too, because sometimes the eye strain with the 3D especially for kids.
Yeah, and I don't know, like they...
It just seems like at some point they reached where every year they've got some version of their handheld without anything, maybe improving hardware like now.
Yeah, the new 3DS was an actual actual improvement.
Yeah,
and that's a lot different than.
It just feels like they could have waited or figured out the next one they're making. Which, do you know what's special about the next one, or is it just again a hardware improvement?
They've only announced that it's called the NX. So that's really it. So it was at the same time that they announced the partnership with mobile games.
Oh, okay.
Dana.
There it is.
And so they haven't really announced anything the NX is, but
it says it has a brand new concept.
Yeah, the new hardware system with a brand new concept, NX, and the smart devices and PCs, blah, blah. I'm wondering, are they going to start porting their stuff to PC? Because I will buy every Nintendo game ever if they finally do a fucking PC. They're doing PC.
Hi.
They're actually going to start making PC games with Nintendo IPs. This is fucking amazing. Okay, I did not know that. I knew it was going to be tablets and smartphones and mobile devices and stuff like that. But they're actually doing PCs.
Well, okay, so it's also saying... It doesn't say whether it's a... It says it's a...
It's a new membership service that will encompass all smart devices.
I'm talking about the NX. I got distracted.
Oh, the NX is going to be new hardware. They've confirmed.
So it's going to be just
it's a new
game platform.
It's a new handheld.
A handheld. Okay.
Yes, it's not a Wii U replacement.
How do we know it's a handheld?
It says it's not going. They said something about it not replacing the Wii U. This isn't the same one that I read earlier.
Okay.
But there was something that said, I'll find more about the NX later. I was actually going to record a full episode of. This is just us talking essentially, for a bonus episode for me being sick and shit. But my other thing with, and we have Michael joining us, so Michael, sit down.
Hi.
Sit down. We're talking about Nintendo and Nintendo's possible issues and also triumphs.
Yeah.
But I guess my other thing with Nintendo games is they end up where has Metroid gone? Metroid has just disappeared after Zero because Zero sucked.
That's what I was gonna say. I think that they maybe right now don't feel like they can afford to suck.
Well, no, they need to make a good Metroid game. It will get a lot. If they make a good Metroid game on the Wii U, I will forego buying new computer parts and buy a fucking Wii U. I love Metroid that much. I will fucking buy a new Wii U and provide them with money. Cash value. But they handed fucking Metroid off to Ninja Theory, I believe is who it was.
That's probably the problem.
And they turned Samus in... Oh, God. I'm not even going to get into the fucking issues I have with that and Samus's character. Essentially, Samus went from being the most badass fucking bounty hunter in the universe to constantly needing to be saved by the boys and whining about her fucking issues with her father figure commander. I have so many issues with fucking Zero. And just give me the Prime days back. I just want those because those were... The Prime trilogy are easily some of the best Nintendo games that have ever happened. And Nintendo is not known for their first-person shooters at all. But...
Well, that might also be a reason why they're not...
But the Prime games are, almost universally loved. And if they went back and they made another good Metroid, people would be happy.
Again, I'm a little younger, and so in my house we weren't really allowed to play shooters for most of our lives, right, Michael?
It's true.
Yeah. The only one we ever had, I think we had one Metroid's game, and then we had Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah. 2.
It's okay.
Good game.
Battlefront 2 is good. Battlefront 1 wasn't that great. Yeah, and even Eli had one of the Primes. And,
that may not
We had
no, Eli.
It's
here.
here.
And Eli said that's one of their favorite games.
It's here.
We have Prime Corruption. I fucking love the Prime games. But and they were the GameCube / Wii era. So I mean, like they were the last.
I think I was just like a little. Well, also just my house. Maybe a little young to care as much about them. I'm very, very much when we were younger, it was Pokemon, and I can remember the Kirby, which we did have on the NES too, but Kirby. Okay, I can remember the NES, but I don't have as much love from that time in my life just because I was so young. But I think most of my affection comes from definitely the handhelds, Game Boy games, and from the Wii games that I played. So Twilight Princess was probably one of the first very more mature type of games that I played. It was the first rated teen game that I ever played, or that we ever played. And it was also something that got me to start doing art, which I think I was in 9th grade. Yeah. When we played that. So that was kind of formative for me. And so I'm much more excited probably about the Zelda title coming out this year than I am upset about lack of Metroid.
And I'm not upset about the Zelda title coming out this year because fucking yes, give us another Zelda.
And have they said anything more about that, or is that just sitting around?
No, they haven't shown anything new. They haven't talked about it because they're Nintendo and that's what they do. But they have such a great creative team at Nintendo.
Well,
and they have so many brilliant fucking game designers there. Like they have people that have literally formed and shaped gaming. If Super Mario 64 had not happened, we would not have an entire genre of games, and we would not have 3D space games like we do today. It wouldn't have happened. And the fact that they haven't been doing that lately. Like, I'm not asking them to reinvent fucking gaming again, but they have people who are fucking brilliant there that just don't anymore. And I get it, but please, Nintendo, I love you so much.
I'm just not so... you're very negative about them all the time, and I think I lean more towards paying attention to the things that I think are admirable that they've done. I know you didn't like Skyward Sword, but I thought that was such a good integration of the Wii and the Wii Motion Plus, which...
Yeah, that part I'm not going to disagree that it wasn't great there. I just found Skyward Sword to be kind of the weakest of especially of the more recent Zeldas. I would definitely say it was weaker than Twilight Princess or any of those.
Twilight Princess better.
Twilight Princess has one of the best feels, I think.
And
it has this kind of dark, very...
Nobody will ever be able to tell me that Skyward Sword is better than Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time.
I don't care about Ocarina of Time. I've seen it played once.
Yeah, but
so, and also
that was also probably
old. So
yeah.
Not really. You're not. But
I kind of am.
I don't have as much of the nostalgia that a lot of, I think, very vocal gamers who are probably a few years older than me only.
It's not even nostalgia even for me because as much as I love those games, I will criticize them. Like the Z targeting in those games is shit. I fucking hate Z targeting. Nintendo needs to learn how to do fucking dual analog because when they have to sell a peripheral for your goddamn DS so you can even play a game, Monster Hunter 4 on Ultimate, you have an issue there, Nintendo. Your little eraser nub on the new 3DS isn't doing anybody any fucking favors. Please just put 2 sticks. That's what people want. You know it. Just do it, please. It would make your games fucking fun. Learn to design a game so that you can look with one stick and move with the other. That's it. But
it says that Nintendo's stock price went up, obviously, with mobile announcement.
They were for a long while.
It sounds like they're making very money smart moves.
They're definitely being smart and recovering because up until this year they were dropping. Since the Wii U came out, actually towards the end of the life of the Wii to just this past year, they've been just they've been losing money. Not nearly as badly as Sony has, because Sony is just fucking bleeding dry right now. The only thing keeping Sony afloat is the PS4 sales, and those are starting to slow. I think. I haven't looked at PS4 sales numbers in fucking forever.
They've made general mistakes with it.
Well, Sony's just fucking destroying themselves as it is.
They're self-destructing.
They still... How many fucking hacks and service outages do you need before you learn how to use fucking encryption?
So, I'm reading the... I hadn't read very much on the Nintendo going with mobile, and it seems like they're gonna avoid putting any old games.
Yeah, it's not any ports of old stuff. It's all new stuff with current IPs, though.
Yeah.
So if I can get a Mario on my fucking... if I can get Mario or Zelda on my computer, though, I'm happy. That's all I want.
It could do both. I think it could put...
They could easily.
Especially mobile versions.
But they don't want to go and port... Like, and even then, just sell a fucking emulated version. It's not like I can't go download an emulator on my fucking Android phone and put a goddamn...
play it anyway.
Yeah,
so
just
why not
sell an emulator? You're selling an emulator anyway on the Wii. That's all the WiiWare shop is.
So, the company president says that the experience would be a mismatching of software and hardware that would not produce a game that meets their standards.
Bullshit. It works just fine.
If you're talking about old Super Mario Bros., that could be fun to play on mobile.
I emulated goddamn
or Pokemon.
Ocarina of Time on my PC and played it with a keyboard and it worked fine.
Like Pokemon Red and Blue would be very easy to do a mobile version
Pokemon is already a mobile game.
Right.
You make it so you can tap the moves.
Right.
That's all you have to do. That's it. You already can do that on the fucking 3DS versions.
I think they have an idea of what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I can see that.
They don't want to compromise that.
And I respect them completely for that. Right. And I'm fine with them making only new games for that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't tell me you can't port shit. Like, don't tell me you can't put something on the goddamn PC and sell a peripheral to make a GameCube or a Wii Pro controller work with a PC and just sell it like a USB dongle for it. Don't tell me you can't do that, because I know you fucking can. Like, I'm sorry. Microsoft literally put out the Xbox One. They're like, oh yeah, hey, just grab a micro USB, download these drivers, and you can just use your Xbox One controller on the PC. Same thing with the old Xbox 360s. Just as long as it's the wired one, plug it in, it works fine. Like, don't tell me that it's not possible to do that. And Nintendo, you would have all of my money. I would only play your games then. Fuck everything else I own. I would just play Nintendo games at that point. Because at that point, I'm happy. And I have... Like, even if it's not old games, but you could put them... I would do it. And they make controllers for phones and shit. Like, there's even a controller for the goddamn iPhone. Like... You could just have it mapped to the controller, which has the same buttons as most other controllers. Just do that. Like, give us these games, please. I don't want to buy a new 3DS or an NX or whatever the fuck the next handheld you have is. I have things that cost me money already.
I'm trying to think what they're gonna do different with it, which I think you could never really predict, because I remember back when they announced the DS, I was like, why would you need two screens? I was baffled.
Well, yeah, and the DS was a good way of doing it.
It was great. It was a perfectly good handheld.
Sometimes it's not.
I don't know what they're gonna do now.
Sometimes it's really not, but sometimes it is. And sometimes they try to port that type of thing over to the Wii U, and it doesn't work. Yeah. Kirby and the Rainbow
I'm a
Curse.
little concerned about the new Kirby game. Feeling I didn't particularly like.
Canvas Curse,
yeah. I don't really remember it though. My favorite one is that Game Boy Advance one where we would link up our Game Boys with like a physical link cord.
Yeah, God,
and
back
play,
in the day.
Our SPs.
Amazing Mirror.
Yeah, that game I really liked.
And that's my thing.
It's
like
old feel Kirby.
Well, and that's the other thing. Since Epic Yarn, I don't think that Epic Yarn was great, but I don't think they've made a classic Kirby game.
The funny thing was the Epic Yarn wasn't supposed to be a Kirby game.
No, it was supposed to be something completely different. They just made it Kirby. But at the same time, like, that's actually all, like, hand-done yarn. That's fucking amazing. Well, actually, no. It was a texture of actual yarn wrapped around the meshes for Kirby and all the other stuff. That was the cool part. But the thing is, like, I guess my issue with the Kirby games themselves, they've just done these, like, weird, like, Kirby is made of clay, Kirby is made of yarn. The new one is a claymation looking one.
Oh, I think that's supposed to be a follow-up cool, for the yarn one. I don't.
It's a cool concept and stuff, but
have they done any other Kirby games though?
No, they haven't done anything like the classic.
There was another DS one.
Yeah, the one where you got like.
I'm gonna look it up.
A bunch of Kirbys.
I do not know that.
Okay.
I have not seen that
look
one.
Up Kirby.
I don't have a DS, so I didn't really keep up on DS titles that well. So, but as far as I knew, there hadn't been really a classic Kirby game in a long time.
There was the Squeak Squad, but I think that was before Yarn.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Yeah, I guess they haven't really. Like, they could do a lot more with their core stuff. Like, they've still got. They could make an older feeling Kirby game.
In your you're just complaining about Mario.
But I'm not saying make. But my issue with Mario is we have like 4 or 5 of the same game.
I feel like they're not necessarily the same. Like with like I was talking about.
I'm not saying the 3D World one.
I'm saying that was the last. I think there's been one after that.
But they did the new Super Mario Bros. For the DS, then New Super Mario Bros. Wii, then New Super Mario Bros.
If
DS,
it's the same game,
3DS.
If it's the same game between different consoles or handhelds, I don't count that as them trying to make a new game.
No, I'm not. But that was like we've gotten all of those, and then one other new Mario game since Galaxies 2.
Okay, so I found
That's my issue with the Mario stuff. It's not that, and it's like 4 or 5, and then we had the Luigi pack one.
I don't see problems. I mean, I don't feel as maybe you feel very like inundated with it, but I don't feel like oversaturated with Mario. I think also because they do produce different Mario types of games.
Well, they've produced one different Mario type of game.
There's
Mario Party.
Mario Kart is all of their different franchises though. It's just carries the Mario name because that's the one that carries the most weight. If it was only Mario characters, then it would be.
It's mostly Mario characters.
But it's still got Donkey Kong. It's still got the Kongs. It's still got Legend of Zelda characters and stuff.
Donkey Kong is
only
a Mario
recently.
character.
Donkey Kong is his own franchise now. Just because he was in the original Mario
it's still Mario.
It's Mario.
It's still Mario.
But the universe is it's not the same universe anymore. The Kong universe doesn't cross over with the Mario
games, and it's a different Mario.
It's not a different Mario game. Mario has not appeared in a Donkey Kong game since the original fucking Mario game.
Who cares?
That was on arcade.
It's still Mario.
It's not still Mario.
X Donkey Kong. X whatever.
Rob.
Now they have, some other characters with packs. Which actually did the Animal Crossing pack. We bought the DLC. Yeah. So and it's actually really cool to have additional tracks actually.
Yeah, like I'm not and again, I'm not complaining about Mario Kart, but I wouldn't consider Mario Kart a core Mario game because it's Mario plus the rest of Nintendo stuff.
And it's
that's
obviously
like saying
very different.
That's like saying Sonic All-Star Racing's Transformers is a Sonic game.
You seem to feel like they've only been releasing Mario games.
No. I'm just saying in terms of Mario's stuff, that's all they've done. Just like but I also defended Legend of Zelda, saying that the ones that they release at least feel different compared to.
Well, that's because they're story based.
Yeah, and Mario, but they've released one different Mario game from the other 4 they released.
Well,
recently, since Galaxy 2,
they released handheld Marios that are very different. What's the one
that was that
Eden?
That was that weird one that they went into Bowser.
Those. No, they released another one like that.
That was when they went to Bowser. They released another one recently?
I believe they recently released another handheld Mario.
I think it was Wii or DS.
Wasn't there?
Before 3DS.
I thought there was another handheld
I don't
Mario
think
released.
there has.
I might just be.
I think you're just thinking of the one because there was two of the ones where they went into Bowser.
Let's go back to let's revisit Kirby for a second. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror was 2004.
It's such a good game.
Kirby Canvas Curse was 2005, which I think they were still figuring out.
God, that was that long ago?
The touch screen.
It's been 10 fucking years since then? It's been 10 years since the DS.
Well, and consider
Holy
I was,
fuck.
11, 10
Yeah.
years? I was 11. Maybe the game just didn't feel very good to me because my hands were too small to hold the stylus and the Game Boy. I don't really know.
Maybe. Also,
Wow, I didn't realize that Canvas Curse was so long ago.
Canvas Curse was a very big shift from the typical Kirby games that we were playing.
Right.
I
was 11.
I miss Nightmare
Michael
in Dreamland.
9.
Oh,
my brother would
such a
have been
good
9
game.
years old, 9 and 11.
Kirby! Nightmare in Dreamland. Kirby! Now I need to go find that commercial.
Kirby's Epic Yarn was 2010.
Yeah. So it's been 5 years since Epic Yarn.
Then. Kirby Mass Attack. Okay, that
Mass
was...
Attack. I hadn't heard of that one.
2011.
Okay, so it's still been 4 years
and that was
since
on
the last
just
Kirby
DS.
game.
That was a fun
Kirby's
game.
Return to Dreamland, 2011.
Oh.
Kirby,
No, I had heard Return to Dreamland. Yeah. I forgot about that one.
That was on
Fuck.
Wii.
Yes, I had forgotten about
What is
Return to
that one?
Dreamland.
We had...
That was Nightmare to Dreamland continue. That was the sequel to Nightmare to Dreamland, I believe.
Kirby Triple Deluxe.
What the fuck is that?
That was 2014. That's the one with a bunch of them.
Oh,
And
it's just a re-release of the older
Kirby
games.
and the Rainbow Curse is the new one. They have released a lot of Kirby games.
They have. I guess they just fall under the radar because they're so and I guess I don't know. Kirby games just fall under the radar for some reason, and it's one of the best franchises.
We also have the Kirby Dream Collection that has a bunch of old ones too on it, and they did that, which that's not a new thing, but it was kind of nice to give people the old games to play on their Wii or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not give them, but
I guess I want to see more from Nintendo because they can do more.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like you're overwhelmingly pessimistic compared.
I'm not pessimistic. I'm hopeful that they're going to do more. The fact that they're now the whole thing that started off in this conversation before we even hit record was the fact that I was really happy that they're finally branching out and doing things that aren't just make 5 Wii games and hope for the best. They're actually making things on different platforms and stuff, and they're licensing things out. I'm happy, and it finally feels like they're doing stuff to turn themselves around. But before, yes, I was very pessimistic because they were bleeding money. They weren't making anything new. There was 4 games in the Wii U for the first year and a half it was out. Until fucking Mario Kart, there was nothing on the Wii U worth getting.
I think that was a definite lack of foresight and maybe a need to rush the console.
They rushed the Wii U
to meet
real
the
hard.
other consoles that were coming out.
But the thing is, they rushed it, and
timeframe.
it was still underpowered compared to the consoles that were out at the time.
But
they
it's
could have
still
spent
a fair step up from the Wii.
But if they had spent another year or 2 on it, and even if they came out a little bit later than the other ones, had games for it when it released, instead of, oh, well, we have 2 games and then you can buy all your WiiWare games.
I don't remember. We got a Wii U a couple years ago. My parents did.
A year and a few months.
Yeah. So a little over a year ago. And I don't remember being disappointed at that point with it, which that would have been a year, I think, after it came out.
Yeah.
Because didn't it come out Christmas before?
It was the year before the other 2 consoles came out.
Right.
They had a year head start. But they sold almost no Wii U's.
Right. I think they could have waited.
They could have waited at least another year.
And warn them.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean,
So,
they could have waited at least another year, released at the same time as the PS3 and the 360, had a bunch of really good, they could have had Mario Kart. They could have had these games that were their core games that will sell their systems come out with it. Can you imagine how well the Wii U would have sold? They should have had
Mario Kart come out with it.
Can you imagine how well it would have sold if it had come out with Smash? Oh my god, if it came out with the same day and date with Smash 4 and Mario Kart, can you imagine how well Nintendo would be doing right now? They would have fucking destroyed the competition.
Maybe what they ended up thinking was to get their console out earlier, it was more beneficial, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. I mean, the PS4, in the first month it existed, outsold the entirety of the Wii U sold in its lifetime at that point.
Yeah.
In 1 month, they sold more than a year's worth of Wii U's.
Right.
And that was.
And I don't pay very much attention to the PlayStation stuff anymore.
I don't give a fuck. Sony fucked me over personally, so fuck them.
We had a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation, whatever, and then we had a PlayStation 2. And then after that, by the time it moved on to PlayStation 3, there weren't really any titles at that point that were maybe not necessarily appropriate for us, but they weren't really the sorts of games we played. When did the PS3 come out?
PS3, I believe, I got it around the time it came out. I believe it was 07.
Right, so
it was late 07 is what it was. Because I got it in 08.
You know, we would have been like 11 and 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So,
I remember getting it because I got it when I was working at a movie store.
And again, we weren't allowed to play shooters or like teen-rated games, and a lot of games that were coming out for PS3 were T.
There was nothing on that system for you.
Nintendo always had very much games that were broad audiences, which is something that I do appreciate that Nintendo is able to do, is appeal to very large audiences.
They're
games that don't feel dumbed down.
They're very an E for everyone thing, and that's there's nothing bad about that.
Like I was saying earlier before we started recording, is Michael was saying about the new Pokemon games, how now they lead you a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you tell me what you think about that, and if you think that's like a positive thing or what.
Well, in Omega Ruby, which is what I'm playing through right now, there's a lot of points where I remember in the original games you would have to like backtrack, like either by traveling over the water a ways or through Rusturf Tunnel, going down through Meteor Falls back to Rustboro City. Those are some of the places. And in this game, your companions, like, once you've beaten the gym leader or rescued Professor Cosmo in those areas, your companions will say, let's go back to Mauville City. And then they'll take you there. And it doesn't even give you the option to, like, do side questing of any sort. Like,
that's a little bit annoying. That's kind of dumb, but not terrible.
Which it seems like, I feel like it might be an attempt to make something that is trying to be accessible to younger audiences, but
granted, the original games were very...
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about, too. Like, as a little kid, when I played Red, I had no fucking clue what I was doing.
Well, and Michael couldn't even read when he started playing Pokemon.
And you had to talk to everybody, and you had to read what they said. Like, the original fucking games did not hold... Well, they were also coding nightmares that were fucking broken as shit. But, no, they were. There's a reason that the Missing No thing happened. Well, because they... Well, and also, think about this. They could barely fit, like, the Kanto region on there.
Yeah.
And then they, in the next game, actually went and optimized the code and fixed things, and they were able to fit an entire second... Thing. Well, it was also, they had no idea what the fuck they were doing. The developers, Game Freak has even said, they fucking cobbled that shit together. Because they had no clue.
The game
I don't know if anybody else, but Missing No still, like, creeps me out.
Missing No is
scary.
The creepiest.
It's the creepypasta.
I actually love that. It wasn't a creepypasta, it was a comic on Tumblr for Missing No. That, like...
Missing No's scary.
That a trainer died, and their Pokeballs were just on their body, and nobody found their body because they died in, like, the woods or some shit, getting killed by a Pokemon. And Missing No is because, you know, they turn the Pokemon into, like, data and put them in the ball. Well, the ball started, like, dying, and so it corrupted the data for the Pokemon inside of it. And it was just like, and it just became Missing No on the ball as the name, and it was just like, okay, that's fucking cool, and a really cool concept, and really fucking weird. Nintendo, please buy that concept.
Missing No just still creeps me out so much.
I don't know, do you know why Missing No is a thing?
It was... there was something to do with that little strip on Cinnabar Island. I remember reading a thing on it. Like, Game Freak talked about it. Like, the bug was something to do with some parsing in the code for that small little patch. It was 6 tiles. That's all it was. It was just 6 fucking tiles that did this. But there was something in the code there because it was... The game couldn't decide if you were on a beach or in the water. And I think that's what it was. Because they hadn't added, like, the rules for those tiles right there. They just forgot those. I think that's what it said it was. But then it would try to figure out what Pokemon would spawn there, and sometimes you get a level 280 Snorlax. Like me. That was what my game got. Or sometimes you just get Missing No. Because the game could not figure out what the fuck it was supposed to toss, and it was just this collection of garbled shit. And it was just like, this is a glitch, fucking take it, I don't know what's happening. And that was I believe that's what I read, I think, on how Missing No happened. But it was just this garbled chunk of stuff because it's just like, I don't have a number for this Pokemon because I don't know what it is, so just take it, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember in Silver, what was it? If you sell everything, you break it. You get 99.
A glitch in the game.
We were kids. We didn't use the internet.
Yeah. Also, if you kept something, I think there's a 6th or 7th item slot when you're doing the Missing No cheat in Red or Blue. It also made it an infinite, like, it broke the number symbol of that item. So I would do that with rare candies and Master Balls. Yeah. And I would go there and I would go and catch, like, I would go and, like, get it, and I'd have, like, a glitch number of Master Balls, and it was like 400 of them. And you just catch every Pokemon ever because you had infinite Master Balls. And every Pokemon I had was level 100 except for my 280, I think it was 285 Snorlax. And that was just my fucking... I would toss a Snorlax out that was 285, had Hyper Beam, and its stats were double anything else in the game could possibly be. And it's just like, I'm going to go run through the Elite Four without taking damage. Let's do this. Because its health was glitched. Because it had over 1,000 health and it couldn't parse more than 999 health.
Sometimes, like, the ability for, like, creepy horror that could exist in the Pokemon world is...
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, even just thinking about a Pokemon, like, mauling a person and eating them is, like, horrifying to my childhood self.
I hope to God that somebody licenses Pokemon and makes a PC version of Pokemon that is, like, a dark, gritty fucking, like... Not an FPS. I still want it to be a Pokemon, but I want it to be, like, a third-person action game where your attacks are tossing out your different Pokemon, and then you play as that Pokemon until it gets knocked out or killed, and things die. They don't get knocked out or faint.
I don't want that.
I want that.
I can already imagine that.
And you have to be like some badass, like only the most hardcore motherfuckers, not little 10-year-old boys, are running around with like knives and guns because they have to fight off Pokemon as they're running through. If their Pokemon get knocked out or something, I want it.
I'd like a Pokemon game that puts your character in a little different place. Maybe, like
oh my god.
Other than just a baby trainer.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This finally opens up something that I've been wanting for like most of my life. They're finally going to be able to put Nintendo games on PCs. What if this developer, who I know has like a kind of spotty track record for mobile, but what if they get good, and what if they finally make a fucking Pokemon MMO for PCs? Oh my god, there's actually a small possibility of this happening now. Nintendo has all of my money if this happens. I will... My life is over. You think I'm bad with WoW. My life will be over.
You're banned from WoW. So.
I banned myself from WoW.
Yeah.
But if Nintendo makes a fucking Pokemon MMO, the world will end. So many people will quit doing things in life.
Yeah.
That's a bad... I think Nintendo knows how much power it wields, and that's why it hasn't made it.
Especially if they're losing maybe some of their older audience, because nostalgia just doesn't cut it anymore. Especially because they're going in new directions with the Pokemon games.
Yeah.
If they're losing some of their Pokemon players because it's not, something they're interested in anymore, going with something a little more mature or different in a different direction rather than just
and on a different
easier
platform.
for kids
It doesn't need to be on the Nintendo.
Also, the new Pokemon style is very like chunky.
Yeah.
And it feels more juvenile to me, but it's actually also really cool looking. So
yeah,
I don't know how
I like the style to it. But I also like one of the things
hate the battle scenes.
Also, why don't they make a console version of Pokemon? That would sell like a motherfucker on the Wii.
Yeah.
It's
like,
weird. Like Nintendo makes weird decisions.
Like Pokemon Coliseum.
Well, I'm talking an actual like. Imagine a
Pokemon
gorgeous.
Was fun.
But imagine a gorgeous version of Pokemon on the Wii U.
We used to.
Like
we used to go to
fully
this
rendered
family
version.
friend's house, and I remember one of the boys played The Sims, and one of the boys played Pokemon Coliseum, and I would watch. It just seemed fun. I don't know.
Yeah, Pokemon Coliseum was great. My cousin had it, and we played the shit out of it on the 64. But like if they made. Can you just imagine what like on the Wii U?
I love Pokemon so much, and now that we're like talking about it, I get like Michael and I used to rent from the video store the Pokemon movies, whatever one, and
we should do a Pokemon movie marathon.
We used to have them recorded on my parents' DVR.
It's spring break for you.
Yeah.
You need to come over this weekend, and we need to do a Pokemon movie marathon.
We should.
No, yeah.
We'll get popcorn. We get paid today.
I think my favorite still is the Pokemon.
No. Popcorn and shit.
Pokemon Heroes.
Oh
is that
God.
the Latios one?
Yes.
I love it so much because Latios and Latias are so cute. But then.
Other good
I'm
ones.
okay
Jirachi,
with this.
Oh yeah, Michael loves Jirachi. They have in the Pokemon Center at the mall. They have a Jirachi right now.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is the last Pokemon movie I saw was, I believe.
Lucario was a good one.
I saw in theaters. I saw the first 3.
Oh my God!
Because I remember I got the special edition Entei card, and I got the fucking Ancient Mew card. As a kid, I put my Ancient Mew in a fucking plexiglass case, like the card cases. It's like a thin piece of plexiglass you could slide in. I had one of those, and then I had a plexiglass actual box it went into. I was so fucking happy with that card. I was a little kid though, and but then they had I had the Entei card too, and because that was Entei's movie, that was the last one I saw was Entei's movie. Was that the third?
Is that the one where
I think it was Pokemon the movie
little
3.
girl?
Yes.
Basically gets a Pokemon dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the third movie. So
the first one was.
What if your dad was God and also
Pokemon
the
movie?
Mewtwo?
That was the one with Mewtwo. It was Pokemon the movie 2000, I think, and then Pokemon the movie 3.
Was the Articuno.
Yes, that was the second one, I believe.
The Orange Islands.
Yes, that was the second one, I believe, because I remember I saw those 3. Maybe I'm getting the order mixed up, but I remember seeing those 3.
Such a good movie.
Pokemon. Okay, but
Legend of Grimlock.
The last Pokemon movie of the new ones that I fully remember watching was the Dusknoir. No, that's the wrong Pokemon. What's the
Darkrai?
Darkrai one.
Yeah.
Darkrai. Dark. Okay, the Darkrai.
We watched the one with the stupid.
We watched the beginning of the one with the stupid horse, voiced by Vic Mignogna.
Ugh. That immediately makes me not want to fucking watch it.
And there were 2 of those.
It felt horrible in the first 5 minutes, but I never finished it. So, but I think I would still maybe want to watch some of the new ones just because I haven't. But. Also, I feel like with the show, they should move towards a new protagonist. But now we're kind of getting off track.
Yeah, we're completely off track. I honestly don't care because this is
Nintendo affiliated.
You guys hear about Microsoft letting go of IE?
Oh yeah, no. We'll talk about that. IE was gonna die anyway. I already knew that was coming. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. They're not letting it go. They're just getting rid of the branding. They're getting rid of the branding.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know about those things.
It's gonna be IE.
No, it's different. It's got a different name.
Michael
believes.
Okay, anyway.
I'm still gonna use Chrome,
we've talked about Nintendo. I still have more things that I think about Nintendo, but honestly, it's probably the same rhetoric I've said.
You hate them, and
I don't hate them. I love them so much, and I'm just disappointed that they haven't done things. I
get really defensive when you talk about Nintendo.
I love Nintendo so much, and I want them to do better because I don't want them to go away.
But you have to also appreciate their triumphs.
I do. And you
don't play the DS games.
That's just work for Nintendo.
I really liked
well, the DS is the only thing keeping them afloat at the moment. Like, the Wii U's finally selling. But the DS is the only thing that kept them from dying in the last few years.
I'm almost done with Link Between Worlds.
You haven't played that in a while.
I actually really liked it. All I have left is the last dungeon.
Actually, the microphone is sitting on top of the DS right now.
Yes. All I have left is the last dungeon. I thought it was great. I made some bad choices with, I think, either the first or the second dungeon I went in. The worst dungeon of all of them was the one with the hand.
The dark dungeon.
And the floor
Fuck that dungeon.
No, that wasn't the dark one. The dark one was actually one of the easiest dungeons.
Oh, well, whatever the one where the hand, where I had to fight that fucking hand for you.
I don't even remember what one that was.
I don't know. It was the big gauntlet with the eye in the palm, and fuck that one.
That boss battle. Was.
Some of those boss battles feel not great.
Some of the other dungeons were really great. I think that was the only one that I had a ton of trouble with the boss. I did like the one desert dungeon actually, which towards the end I was kind of coasting through it. I had all the items, and it wasn't as difficult, but I still I don't have all the hearts yet, but I had 15 or whatever. The one thing I have to go through the tower. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, the 50-floor tower thing.
Yeah, again, which it took me a couple tries to get all 50 floors done, which I would usually make it up to the last one or two of the floors, and then die. But I have to do it again for the other items, but they're honestly not that important. I think it's a new lamp or a new bug net, whichever one I didn't get the first time, and all they do is it adds damage to them. So, but I mean, the game, I really liked it, and also, like, every time they add a Zelda game, there's also this question of, like, well, where does this fit into the lore? Where does this fit into the timeline? And speculating, which is fun, too. So, I thought it was a good installment, and it was exciting, but I'm increasingly, like, more and more excited as I think about it, about the new, the Wii U title, which
I'm still not sure how I feel about it.
I want an ad. I want something. I want to know something about it, but I'm sure it'll be great.
I want to know things before I get too excited because, I don't know, like.
But they're so consistently good with character design, with the feeling of the game.
Oh yeah, I love the look of the new Link and stuff.
And the new Link is adorable. I don't know how open world how it being more open world is going to play into the.
Maybe they brought in some of the people from Hyrule Warriors to help with that.
Maybe
because Nintendo is not really known for its open world.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know how is it going to play into it. Is it going to be?
What if they brought in the Skyrim team?
That
would be amazing.
I think that is some fantastical.
What if it was just... Well, I already pretty much have Skyrim. I have a Legend of Skyrim, essentially.
You would just play the music.
You haven't seen some of the other mods I've added. Oh. They haven't popped up yet. Like, I have Epona somewhere in the game. I cannot find her. But, yeah, no, like, you can make Legend of Skyrim, essentially. But imagine if they took Bethesda's team from Skyrim and all their open world stuff and then just said... Yes, we will help you, Nintendo. We will build the best game ever.
What if you just had a giant Zelda game with, like, hundreds of hours?
8,000 hours of content. It'd be the only thing anybody played.
Arcs to play. Yeah, nobody would ever leave their house again. The economy, it would just... Everything would go wrong.
No, we would just start trading Nintendo product. Amiibos would be the new cash. They essentially are now. Fucking the scarcity. That's it. Okay, I'm not even going to get in on the Amiibo bullshit because Amiibos make me really angry because Nintendo manufactures its own scarcity, and it pisses me off.
I'm used to it. I'm an iPod owner.
Yeah, well, you can find iPods in all the stores.
I know, but they just pretend like you're never gonna find it when it first
but
comes
Nintendo
out.
actually makes it so you can't find
also,
amiibos.
I don't understand the things about iPhones. You go in on the date or whatever, and everyone's there.
Nobody does
everyone
that
wants
anymore.
One. Yes, they do.
No, it's just crazy people. It's just. I'm sorry for being ableist there, but it's just crazy people because everybody else who actually thinks things through just pre-orders on the fucking site and it gets delivered to them by Amazon the day it's out. No one actually gives a shit.
But there are these people that are like into it and they'll like
a lot of those. But a lot of those people, a lot of the people who wait in line are people who are going back to other countries like China and stuff and selling them on the gray and black market for thousands of dollars. What? There are people who will go in
you have
and
experience
buy.
With this?
No, I just know a lot of report. I listen to a lot of tech news. Like, people will go in and buy 10, 15, 20 iPhones at once, go back to China and sell them at like a 10 times markup.
Why?
Because they can. Because people are crazy. Because Apple has created this cult around themselves. Anyway, that's a completely different podcast. We'll save that for percentages, which is finally going to record this week, I think. But anyway, this has been Nintendo Talk on the Backlog.
I think amiibos are cute.
Amiibos are cool, but Nintendo, please produce for demand.
Yeah.
Supply for your demand, please.
I can get you some. I know a guy.
Yeah. I know a guy who has all the Rosalina fucking one. He's prepared to spend $35,000 to make sure nobody else can buy a Rosalina because he hates the character so much. Thanks for supplying Nintendo with a lot of money, you asshole. Anyway.
Maybe he's single-handedly, buoying their market.
Yeah, maybe he's the one who's buying all of the fucking...
He's rescued Nintendo.
Ugh, God damn it. He makes me so mad. Anyway. This has been... I guess we'll call this episode Nintendo Talk. It's just going to go up. I'm going to actually record an actual backlog with Mike later. So, I called you Mike. That was weird. That felt strange. I'm sorry, Michael.
That's my name.
That felt gross. I'm sorry.
I told him he should go by Mickey next quarter. Or his middle name.
But this is just a special episode of the backlog because I was like, hey, we're talking about this. Let's turn on a microphone, which that upset Vann for a few minutes. But they talked fine, just fine after that. Anyway, go to youtube.com/recurringvs for video stuff. That's where this will be if you're not watching it on YouTube. Patreon.com/SSP if you want to support us doing things, because money is good for buying things. Like, I could pay for this microphone. Or finish buying computer parts so I could actually start doing live streams and stuff. Or storage for things. Or money is good because it's nice for paying for stuff to make more things. So go to patreon.com/SSP, and if you want to, give us a little money each month. SpiderSquareProductions.com for shit that we do, like podcasts and comics that haven't updated in months, and other podcasts that haven't updated in a couple months, and I really need to update shit. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.